I will discuss Miami later because I want to give them their due share. Because that's a great basketball team. There's a reason they were the number 1 seed in the tougher, as I said all season long, the tougher Eastern Conference. I will give Miami their flowers. But not before I get to James Harden. This isn't even a session, however long it may last, of me gloating about James Harden not just not showing up, but disappearing. A word that I try to avoid, choking in the playoffs. Because what I always believe choking has been, I think it's an overused word in the world of sports. Choking, I've always defined it as you are supposed to do something. You are supposed to play this well or win this game. And not only did you not, but you failed in epic fashion in doing so. For example, years ago, the New England Patriots were big favorites in the Super Bowl against the Philadelphia Eagles. As we all know, they lost that game to St. Nick Foles. But Tom Brady didn't choke. Threw for over 500 yards, 3 touchdowns. It's one of the greatest games Tom Brady's ever played. So it's not just losing as the favorite or losing a game that you are supposed to win. In this game, Philadelphia was the favorite in Game 6. How do you lose if you do lose? James Harden has made a career out of this in the playoffs. And I tried to warn you, Philadelphia, when y'all were getting all excited, oh, we finally got rid of Ben Simmons. Listen, that in itself is a cause for celebration, getting rid of Ben Simmons. We get that. Nobody's been more vocal about that than me. And I said, yes, you guys won the trade simply because you got rid of Ben Simmons and got a better player in James Harden. But this is who he is in the postseason. Last night, in a do-or-die basketball game, you win, you go to Game 7, you lose, you come up short of a title for James Harden for his 13th NBA season at age 32, and he is not getting any younger. 4 for 9 from the field. 2 shot attempts in the entire second half. He played 22 of the 24 minutes in the second half. He attempted 2 shots. And if you watched that game last night, which many of you did, I certainly did, you see James Harden's body language? Did you see how he was playing the game? He quit. And quit isn't, it's like choke. Quit is another word that I try to stay away from, especially in the realm of sports. Because when you say that somebody quit, you are questioning not only their abilities, you are questioning their competitive character. You are questioning how bad somebody wants something. I question how much James Harden wants a championship. 1,000%. Why is that? Have we ever known James Harden to take care of his body in the offseason? No, he's shutting down nightclubs with Lil Baby, going to fashion shows instead of being in the gym, and not really working on his game, and certainly not working on his body. We saw that definitely last season when he started the season, his last year with the Houston Rockets. So we know that. We know that in these do-or-die games, remember Game 6, 2017? The exact same situation he was in last night. Game 6, at home, down 3-2. In that game, at least Miami was healthy last night. In that game, the Spurs were without Tony Parker and Kawhi Leonard, 2 of their 4 best starters. James Harden went 2 for 11 from the field and scored 10 points. And the Rockets lost by 39. In 2018, Game 7, Harden won the MVP that year. LeBron should have. Let's be real. LeBron should have, because he got a bad Cleveland team all the way to the freaking finals. Harden had an excellent Rockets team with Chris Paul. But Chris Paul goes down. But the NBA media told me James Harden was the MVP that season. Home game 7. As a matter of fact, you had a 15-point cushion at one point. You had a double-digit lead at halftime. And in the second half, Harden led the Rockets to miss 27 consecutive three-point shots. They go from up 15 to losing by 9. Harden, of course, disappeared. Scored over 30, took him 30 shots to get there. A year later, the injury gods give James Harden the blessing, if you will. The injury gods, quote unquote, took KD out the series for the Warriors. Once again, game 6, down 3-2. You're favored to win. Steph Curry does not score in the first half. And you still lose. On your home floor, you can't even get it back to a game 7 with the healthier roster. On your home court. And last year, game 7 against the Milwaukee Bucks. Well, he was hurt. What are you talking about? He did this when he was healthy. So no, you don't get the injury excuse. James Harden scored 22 points. It was an inefficient 22. Kevin Durant dropped 48 points for the Brooklyn Nets. And James Harden gave you absolutely nothing. At home again. This is what happened last night. This is who James Harden is. So now, possibly, he could be a free agent. He has an opt-in deal. I believe he'd make about $47 million. If I were James Harden's agent, I would say you'd be a fool not to take this $47 million. Because any team on the market willing to give James Harden the max contract, which I believe is about $250 million long-term, who on earth would give him that? We think Westbrook's contract is bad, and it is bad. The one bright side of it is, well, you only got 1 year left. If the Lakers do end up keeping Westbrook, which increasingly that's looking more likely, okay, 1 more year, you're vastly overpaying Westbrook, and then he's a free agent. Then you're done. You don't have to pay him anymore. James Harden could be making Westbrook money, actually exceeding Westbrook money, when he's 36, 37 years old. And we see how much he's aged at age 32. Didn't take care of his body, and flat out does not have the desire. I'm sorry, he doesn't. I'm telling you, because I have so much respect for what athletes put into this game, whether it's basketball, football, any sport. That's why I always defend athletes. Anytime, you had, Andrew Luck has done it. Naomi Osaka, Simone Biles has done it. Kevin Love has done it. Taking time away to take care of their mental health. And people talk about, they don't care. This is why I've always defended them. Because I said this isn't a matter of about caring or not caring. It's about you have to attend to an issue that is plaguing your game. Plaguing your best ability. James Harden, whole different story. You see that guy's body language. The guy does not care about winning. Cares about stats, cares about awards, cares about MVPs. That's it. So I don't want to ever hear again about how he's one of the 5 greatest shooting guards of all time. That is blasphemy. The top 4 spots are dead set. Jordan, Kobe, Jerry West, Dwayne Wade. You're telling me James Harden belongs in that group. Because those 4 have championships, and those 4 impacted winning in a way that James Harden never has in his career. In OKC, in Houston, in Brooklyn, in Philadelphia. When are the Harden defenders going to come to this fruition? He ain't that dude in the postseason because he flat out does not care. He doesn't. You've heard me criticize the NBA media for voting Jokic MVP. I have never questioned Nikola Jokic's effort. I've never questioned about whether Nikola Jokic cares about the game or not. James Harden don't care about the game. And he's out here talking after the game about, well, the only reason I didn't take 2 shots is because, I didn't get the ball much. It's because you didn't want the ball much. If you did, you would demand it because you are James Harden. And you say to Doc Rivers, give me the ball. Let me go to work. You did it in game 4. What was the issue in game 4? And I'm here, he's not 100% healthy. Healthy enough to drop 31 in game 4. But when he scores only 14 in game 5, well, the hamstring's still bothering him, how the hamstring is still bothering him from a year ago further evidences that Harden does not care about his body because he didn't put the time that he needed to put into rehab. 2 shots in the second half. And I feel like 2 shots in the second half doesn't emphasize it enough, so I'll put it this way. 2 shots in 22 minutes of basketball. 4 for 9 from the field in a do-or-die basketball game when your best player, Joel Embiid, is playing with a torn-up wrist and a broken face. And I believe he had a back issue as well. I mean, Embiid is falling apart and is still going out there. Now, Embiid did not play well. I believe he went 7 for 24 from the field. Embiid didn't play well. He deserves some blame, absolutely. But the guy is giving you everything he has. This is why I had a big problem and ironically, yesterday was the 3-year anniversary of the event I'm about to mention. When the Sixers lost to the Raptors on the Kawhi buzzer beater, and everybody's seen the meme of Joel Embiid walking to the locker room, bawling his eyes out. And everybody's like, oh, he's crying after they lost. And I've always defended athletes anytime they leave the court or leave the field in tears if they lost. Because me as a fan, if I'm a Sixers fan, I'm like, that dude left everything he had out on the floor. That dude left every drop of sweat he had out on that basketball court and came up short. And that's why it broke his heart. Have we ever seen James Harden, forget tears, even show some sort of, disappointment? Did you watch that press conference? Tell me James Harden was or wasn't disappointed. And get back to me. This is who he is. This is who he's always been in the postseason.